have a formal policy development process. There's actually a policy that says how we write policies. You're allowed to laugh about our policy on policies. But part of that is an early component of policy development is to quantify the impact of that policy. There may be a cost to implementing a policy. It could be, I'm in central finance, and I like to make sure all of our costs are allowable. I could say we're going to implement a policy that has the PI sign in ink on every expense, and then we're going to get the department administrator sign in ink on every expense, and then we'll have it approved by sponsored finance. But if I were to propose that, especially with those signed in ink on paper, this could be a great cost to the institution because it's cumbersome routing. There's very specific PI burden. The PI may not have been involved in that particular acquisition, so they'd have to find out from their group. The cost of implementing that may dramatically outweigh the benefit that we would receive. So it's important to assess that as part of your policy development. Another example of that would be, are you going to lose revenue? So, for example, you may have a stockroom that primarily exists to sell to campus projects, but maybe occasionally they have some outside sales. And your institution may say, well, we don't like these outside sales for any number of reasons, and we're going to write a policy to say that internal sales operations can only sell to the institution. Well, that will reduce the overhead of that, that will reduce the revenue of that stockroom, and as a result, that overhead associated with that stockroom will then get borne by fewer internal sales and raise costs through that loss of revenue. So you would want to quantify that. You may not be able to avoid that cost, but you don't want it to be a surprise.